today's video is going to be a how-to, and I'm going to be showing you guys how I cover the dark spots on my face as well as the dark circles under my eyes to give myself a really flawless finish for my foundation. I know that in the summertime I posted my summer foundation routine, but of course now we're coming into the fall and winter months, and with the change in the season and the change in the weather, a lot of times your skin changes also. So I figured that I would show you guys an updated foundation routine with a foundation that I recently purchased and have been loving ever since I got it, and it's this Makeup Forever Matte Velvet, and mine is in the shade Caramel. I just got this about a couple of weeks ago, and I have not put this down since I got it in the mail. I purchased it online from Sephora, and I've really been enjoying it, and I love the finish that it gives my skin, especially with the cold weather that we've been having recently. So I figured that I would put this up for you guys so that if there is anyone out there who has similar skin to mine as far as, you know, kind of having some acne scarring or dark circles, or dark spots on your face, as well as some darkness underneath your eyes, I hope that this video will be helpful for you. So if you do enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, as usual, I will have all of the products that I use throughout the video listed in the description bar. So if you would like to see my fall, winter foundation routine and how I cover dark spots and dark circles on my face, then please keep watching. Hey guys, so as you can see, my face is completely clean. Take it all in, take it all in. So the very first thing that I always do before applying my foundation is apply a primer. The primer that I'm using today is the Smashbox Oil-Free Pore Minimizing Foundation Primer. This is one of their newer primers, and so far I've really been enjoying it. I've been using it for a couple weeks now, and I can't say that I love it more than my Benefit Professional, but I have been enjoying it. So what you see me doing is just pressing that into my skin in the areas where I tend to have the largest pores, and that's usually going to be on my cheeks and also on my T-zone. So I just apply it to my cheeks first, and then whatever is left over, I apply down the center of my face and on my chin. Next, I'm going to apply a primer that is going to help control the shine and oil on my face. This one is the Hourglass Mineral Veil Foundation Primer, and I absolutely love this one. I just squeeze out or pump out about a dime-sized amount on my finger and apply it to my face and then rub it all in. And I just make sure to press it into my skin on the areas where I tend to get the most oily. Moving right along, it's time to conceal those dark spots and this nice little pimple that I have on my face. For that, I'm going to be using my MAC Studio Finish Concealer in the shade NC45, and this brush that I have actually came as part of a 10-piece kabuki brush set from BH Cosmetics, which I have absolutely been loving. And all I'm going to do is just dip my brush into the product and then begin tapping it onto the areas where I have blemishes. I really love this concealer because it does a really great job of concealing and also blends out nicely and doesn't look patchy underneath the foundation that I'll be applying on top of it. So as you can see, just dip the brush in, apply on top of the areas that you want to conceal, and that's about it. Another trick that I do from time to time as well for concealing blemishes is using a more orange tone concealer. What that's going to do is help to cancel out the darkness. So if you do have a concealer that has more of an orange undertone to it, you can use that as well. But this is normally the one that I reach for because it's just super easy to just dip my brush in and tap it right exactly where I want it to go. And I do highly recommend these brushes from BH Cosmetics, so I will be sure to link them in the description bar below. So now it's time for foundation. As I mentioned in the intro, I'm using my Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Foundation, which I have been absolutely in love with. And this brush is another brush that came with the BH Cosmetics Kabuki brush set. You get 5 large kabuki brushes and then 5 smaller versions of the larger brushes. So this is one of the angled kabuki brushes, and I'm just using that to apply the foundation to my face. And normally what I do is just squeeze out a good amount, or however much I feel will cover my face, onto the top of a Bath & Body Works candle, and then I just dip my brush into it and apply it to my face one side at a time. And as you can see, I am pressing the foundation into my face, not rubbing it, because with a brush that will create a lot of streaks on your face, And then here I'm also bringing it down my neck so that I don't have any harsh lines around my jawline. And of course, I'm doing the exact same thing to the other side, picking up the product on the brush and patting it into my skin. Now, of course, any foundation that you have that is your personal favorite, you can use for this step. I've just been using this Makeup Forever one just because I've really been enjoying it. But of course, I do substitute other foundations in for this step when I want to switch it up. So you can use whichever one works best for you. Also, the technique of using a patting motion as opposed to a swiping motion when applying your foundation will help you to get more coverage out of your product. So that is why I suggest using that as opposed to swiping. And then normally I do go back in after I apply one layer of foundation to my skin and apply an additional layer just to my cheeks and anywhere that I feel that I need a little bit of extra coverage. And as you will see, I do take my time with this part. The key to having flawless foundation is really paying attention to how you're applying it and making sure that it's really nicely blended out and that you don't have any harsh lines or patchiness throughout your skin. And of course, also too, the key to having flawless makeup in general is having a flawless base. So I do make sure that I take my time with this step and really blend everything out and make sure that it's really smooth and that everything is nicely covered. So the next step after foundation is concealer, and I'm going to be using my NYX HD concealer in the shade 07. And this has definitely been my go-to shade for my under eye concealer lately because not only does it cover my under eye circles, it also brightens anywhere that I place it or anywhere that I want to have a highlight on my face. So I'm just going to apply this underneath my eyes, down the center of my face as well, and then blend it out with my beauty blender. If you don't have a beauty blender sponge, I highly recommend it because I very rarely use a brush to blend out my concealer just because I absolutely love how easy it is to blend it out with the beauty blender and how flawless it gets my concealer. Literally nothing compares to how flawless this thing blends everything out. So I definitely recommend it if you don't already have one. But as you can see, I'm just tapping that product into my skin and blending it out. And I'm just going to do that to both sides of my face as well as down the center of my face. And again, I'm not swiping, I'm just tapping because I don't want to move any of the product around. I just want to blend it into my skin so that there's a seamless transition between where the concealer is placed and where the foundation is placed. So again, take your time with this step as well and just blend away. And my beauty blender is damp. I just ran it under some water and squeezed it a couple times and then also wrung it out in a towel just to make sure there wasn't any excess water, and then I use it to blend out my concealer. And you would be amazed at the difference that it makes using the beauty blender damp as opposed to dry. So just a little tip, if you have a beauty blender, make sure that you are using it damp. So once I've got that blended out, the next step is to set everything in place. My holy grail product for setting my under eye concealer is my Ben Nye Luxury Powder in the shade Banana, and I'm also using my e.l.f. blush brush, which is a brush that you can get from Target for about $3, and I always use this combo for applying a setting powder underneath my eyes. It is foolproof, it works every time, and my concealer never creases underneath my eyes when I use this. So I'm just picking it up on the brush, of course, and just applying it to the areas that I placed my concealer. And again, like I said, this is just going to help to keep me matte throughout the day and keep my concealer from creasing and moving around throughout the day as well. And as I'm applying this powder, you will see me blend out my eyelids a little bit. Concealer creases immediately on my eyelids as soon as I place it on there. So before I place the powder on top, because it is going to lock it in exactly however it is on your face once you place it there, I just blend that out on my eye to make sure that it's smooth before I actually set it in place.
And then of course the last step is to just set the rest of your foundation. The powder that you use for this step is completely up to you. I use all sorts of setting powders. Today I just picked up my Maybelline Fit Me powder just because it was close by, and I wanted to give you guys a drugstore alternative since in my videos I normally use my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. But like I said, whichever one suits you or whichever one you prefer is the one that you can use. And the brush that I was using was a Real Techniques powder brush. So once you set your foundation in place, that's it. You're good to go, and you've got a flawless base to apply the rest of your makeup on top of. Look at the difference from shine to matte and completely flawless. It's amazing what makeup can do for you. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it for you, and it's one that I have been wanting to put out for the longest time. I hope that it's helped you. If it did, definitely give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.